I want to do a little reflecting on the passing of Assata Shakur. She was one of the most iconic and controversial figures of Black liberation. Just a couple days ago, she died at age 78 in Havana, Cuba, where she lived in political exile since the 1980s. Her life was not easy. It was not glamorous. It was filled with heartache and sacrifice. Assata was born Joanne Chesimard in 1947 in Queens, New York. She would also spend time in North Carolina. She came of age during segregation and experienced extreme racism. In the 1960s, she would become involved in the civil rights movement and Black liberation. She rejected her slave name and became Assata Shakur, which means she who struggles, the thankful one. She would move to Oakland and join the Black Panther Party, helping run free breakfast programs and clinics. She spent this time uplifting the Black community and fighting against state violence. But she became critical of the patriarchy and sexism she experienced in the Black Panther Party. Then she made the move to the Black Liberation Army. The BLA was no joke. They believed that armed struggle was necessary to resisting police violence and systemic racism. They were about the business, and they were unafraid to risk their freedom or their lives. At this time, the FBI had created the COINTELPRO program, and they were looking to destroy all these social movements. They targeted the Black Panther Party, the BLA, and the American Indian movement. And Assata's life would be at the center of these struggles. There is so much to her story, but I'm going to jump to the 1973 shootout on the New Jersey Turnpike. Just to give you some context, this shootout is taking place just months after the occupation at Wounded Knee. Assata and two of her comrades were pulled over by two New Jersey troopers. A shootout ensued and two people would lose their lives. One trooper, Werner Forrester, and Assata Shakur's comrade, Zayed Shakur. During this shootout, Assata was shot 2 times. She would live and later be charged with murder. Before her trial, she gave birth to her daughter in prison. She was allowed to spend 1 week with her, and then she was taken away. So imagine that for 1 minute, being shot, thrown in a cage, then losing your newborn daughter. She was charged with numerous crimes and acquitted on most of them. However, in 1977, she was convicted of the murder of the state trooper and sentenced to 33 plus years in prison. The prosecution claimed she was the shooter, but there was no evidence to support that claim. Now, incredibly, in 1979, her BLA comrades broke her out of prison. For years, she lived her life on the run, moving from safe house to safe house. Eventually, she fled to Cuba, where she was granted asylum by Fidel Castro. And it was there in Cuba where she reunited with her daughter, but she had already lost years, birthdays, holidays, and time with her mother and family members. Even though she was in Cuba, her and her family always lived in fear of U.S. retaliation. Assata was considered to be a terrorist, and she had a $2 million bounty on her head. We should honor her courage and sacrifice, but definitely not romanticize her life. While she lived freely in Cuba, she was always looking over her shoulder. And she lost years of time with family member and friends, and she never really got to know her grandchildren. Side note, Assata Shakur was Tupac Shakur's godmother, and she had a major influence on his revolutionary spirit. He once called her the Black female Moses. Her life inspired music, books, and a new generation of activists who saw in her the cost of fighting for freedom. She left us with words we should never forget. Here's one quote that I really love. "It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains." If you want to learn more about her life and sacrifice, check out her autobiography. It's a classic.